So, well, I'm pretty excited. So thanks to all of you. I see that we have a lot of folks that have stayed right here to the very end of all this really great effort. And just so appreciative of all of you for the time and the dedication. I know that just means your heart is really about helping people. So I am really pleased. My name is Rachel Welborn. I'm Associate Director of the Southern Rural Development Center, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Craig Rotter, who is Executive Director for the Texas Rural Leadership Program at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. So glad to have him as a partner. And we have the wonderful pleasure of just talking to you a little bit about where do you want to go next and kind of helping shape some work going forward. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn over to Craig and let him get us started.
Yes, I was about to say good morning, but we're actually at noon, so good afternoon, and so glad that everybody was on today. I want to start with just a quick touch in saying that President George W. Bush said this morning at Congressman John Lewis's services that John Lewis always looked outward and not inward, and I'd hope that in that spirit, what you've witnessed this morning and what we're about to do in terms of some action-oriented activities as we close will move you to really being to look outward in terms of what's going on in your communities and our counties across Texas and what you can actually do in the next few days, next few weeks as this is fresh and taking advantage of all these opportunities. Russ, if you'll move us to the next slide, please. If we could really have everybody's attention as we close and close very strongly today, if you don't mind, we'd like you to just think through all the things that you witnessed this morning, the items that you jotted down. You may go back and look at the recordings and share all this information with colleagues and peers across the state as you actually take full advantage of so many of these opportunities. But we want you to be a little action-oriented as we're closing. And if you'll think through, take a second and just think through a couple of takeaways that you gained and things you want to do from what you heard this morning and what you processed, not only through the speakers, but some of the questions that were asked. And jot that down in the chat. So if you'll click down to the chat in this Zoom meeting room and just share a little bit of just one or two would be great, takeaways from your experiences this morning. And we'll just take a moment to share that as we're warming up and closing today. So some funding opportunities for nonprofits, all the agencies dedicated to serving our communities, information you can share with our program partners across the state, community and market sourced agriculture, a big up and coming thing that's going on. That's fantastic. Great reminders about rural housing programs. What else? An individual, this is the greatest one I think, and that's having that personal contact. You now sort of or pseudo know somebody that you can contact and communicate with and hopefully build those relationships through what we've done this morning. There are a lot of ways to get funding. That is correct. It takes a village looking to sustain our communities across Texas, especially in these times. All right, we'll take a few more and then we'll move forward. The array and scope of the resources available, absolutely. I like that word. Bolster our communities through their efforts, through our efforts, right? Building and strengthening local food economies through regional food system partnership. Someone praising our presenters this morning. Excellent. All right, if we will go ahead and move forward. Thank you all for doing that and keep putting it in. All of this will be saved and that's great information to have. A little bit of visioning now and kind of thinking through what you're going to do. And we wanted you to just take a moment and think through the futures that are out there. And a lot of our folks that have done visioning, futurists have looked at asking 3 questions. And so we want you to think just for a moment as you move forward with action from this morning's meeting. First of all, think about of all the futures that are out there, think about everything that's possible, good, bad, and ugly in our communities across rural Texas, in so many places as you are stepping forward with your work and taking advantage of all the opportunities shared this morning. Think about all the possibilities that could happen, all right, in the next few months, the next 2 weeks as you share the information that you gained this morning, moving to December, moving into 2021, who knows what it'll be bringing us. A lot of possibilities out there. And so we want you to think through, out of all those possibilities that are out there, what's most likely to happen, because you're going to step up and you're going to share, and you're going to read a little further and study, looking at what's available through what was shared at our Prosperity Summit today. And let me tell you that in terms of what's probable, your actions, your next steps are going to be the most valuable piece of this, and whether things are going to happen or not could actually depend on you. And we also know that probabilities increase if you have a list of things you'd like to see happen. So if you would also possibly today or tomorrow, as we close the week, write down what you'd like to see happen after you gained all of this information this morning. And the hope is that you move to, number 3 ought to say what's preferable on our slide. We just caught that it wasn't changed. That's all right. So it's what's possible out of all the futures, what's probable, and how you can increase the probabilities of what you'd like to see happen, and then what's preferable is that third one, and what you'd actually like to see happen. So if you'll just take a moment and kind of think through, out of all the possibilities, one, what's most likely to happen if you act or not moving forward, and take advantage of all of these programs, and what would work best in your community, in your county, in your area, and then what you'd really like to see happen. Russ, if you'll move us to the next slide. All right, so I'm going to pass it back to Rachel and let her move us through another exercise. Thank you all this morning, or this afternoon now.
So we've got some ideas. We've got some great information that's happened today, but I don't know if you're like me, sometimes after I've gone through a lot of information, I'm kind of like, what do I do next? And so we're going to just take a second and think about that. So go on to the next slide, if you would, please, Russ. Here's a question I want you to think about. We're just going to take about 30 seconds. So if you've got a piece of paper, it could be a scratch pad or your iPad or whatever pad you got handy, I want you to think for a minute about 2 or 3 action steps that you could take in the next 30 days based on something you've learned today. So we're just going to hold quiet for just a minute, and I want you to grab something you can write with and see what you can jot down. What could you do in the next 30 days? Yeah, so hopefully that's given you an idea. I got something jotted down. So take us to the next slide, if you would, Russ. We're going to do something even one step further with it. We're going to talk about these baby steps that you've got in your mind with a smaller group. So I'm going to put you into breakout groups. You're going to be in a room with about 4 or 5 people in just a minute. Just take a second and share 1 or 2 of the action ideas that you have together. And we're going to take about 5 or 6 minutes, so everybody will have about a minute to share. And so get your ideas ready. Here we go. Welcome back. Hopefully that just gave you a little inspiration and connection to somebody, just to share for just a minute. So what we would love for you to do for just a minute is to write in the chat what 1 step was that you plan to take. If you want to put more than 1, you can, but everybody just open up the chat. Tell us 1 step that you want to take in the next 30 days. Again, we'll see who's got the fastest fingers over here. Yeah, it looks like Elena's fastest fingers, forming a coalition of stakeholders. Yeah, doing things together is always better than trying to do it by yourself, isn't it? I see Mary's interested in more African-American owned businesses. Billy's going to reach out to different people that he's heard from. Good. Right. Horace is going to reach out to some federal partners with outreach. What other good steps have you got planned? Carolyn's going to look for some ways to share this information more broadly. Absolutely. I see many, many more ideas coming in there. So I encourage you to keep putting those out. Share those with each other. And as you are finishing that off, I am going to pass back to Ed Hargett to introduce a wonderful success story that we want to just share to inspire you as we close out. And so with that, and Russ, I believe that he's got some slides he might want to share. And we'll get you all set up. So Ed, We'll let you take this.
David Allen was elected mayor of the city of Prairie View in 2016. He's a graduate of Prairie View A&M University and is a proud Patriot. He is the CEO and administrator for the city. During his tenure of 4 years, he has garnered $600 million in economic development, developed the largest cricket complex in the U.S., and he has developed 6 MOUs between Prairie View A&M and the city of Prairie View, thus increasing partnership activities between the two. Please welcome the Honorable David Allen, Mayor of Prairie View, Texas. Mayor.
I want to thank my friend and turns out my actual Prairie View classmate, Horace Hodge. I'd heard about some of these programs sparingly, and he was wonderful enough, when I met with him and we talked about it, and he actually put me in touch with and helped start it. And now this is our third delivery. We've been out here since 7 o'clock unloading trucks and then disseminating the people all over. And what I'd like to do, if we could flip through the chart, these are some of the dates and some of the pictures of prior food distributions. We created a wonderful traffic jam at the July 17th one, and we had to have the Waller County Sheriff, the City of Prairie View, the University Police, the Constable, just to direct those 3 miles of traffic across lights and everything. And, of course, I loved it because the more people, the happier I am. Of course, my law enforcement folks, they get busy with that. But it's been an absolute blessing. The people came today. When I came at 7:30, there was a line that was at least a half mile long. And in working with our local apartment complexes, we're in Campus Edge, one of our newest complexes in the city of Prairie View. But the distribution and what this has meant, the texts, the emails, the phone calls that people have been getting, our law enforcement have been delivering boxes, to people that they knew. We certainly try to take care of our senior population and our homebound. But even a lot of our students came out from Prairie View University. Some live on campus, some live in the city. But the ability to utilize this program and really get this wonderful food to so many people during this time. But it serves another purpose, because one of the things that concerned me was we were telling everyone, especially our vulnerable population, our seniors and actually everybody, we don't want you coming out any more than you absolutely have to. And food was one of the things. But to be able to have folks come out, practice safe distancing, be in their cars and that sort of thing, while we, loaded up their trunks or stuck it in the back seat, as the case may be. And we were practicing, as you can see, everybody has to wear a face mask. We were doing it in the city before Governor Abbott required it, because we thought it was just a great thing to do. But the folks that came out to support it, and there you'll see Horace Hodge on the far left on the bottom right picture. He was there for our first one, and that one kicked off. That one was 400 boxes, and that was so well received. And that was just the test one. The last one was somewhere 15, 36, and 3,400. So, a little under 5,000 boxes of food and what have you. Actually, 34, 4, 5, just about 5,000. But it was, the smiles on the people's faces, the notes that we got from people who we didn't know had lost their job, students who wasn't sure, where they were going to get to eat, because again, a lot of them lost their job because businesses were closed. So they couldn't go work in Cypress, Houston, or in any of the local situations. And the fellowshipping and camaraderie that comes with it. But while it totally wears me down, I'm never more excited and energized than in being able to help these folks And this to me is just so symbolic of what so many of you are aware of and help us make happen. So these programs, they work. We've been trying to get something in Prairie View for some time. So I'm just glad I had that conversation and asked Horace about that. And he was great in looking it up. He didn't send me a website. You know, he actually initiated those initial contacts because if the word busy is in the dictionary, it's probably got my picture, if not my name beside it. And this is just one small part of that, because taking care of the people and keeping them safe. We also coordinated United Memorial Medical Center to come out, and they were giving the free COVID if you had Medicare, Medicaid, or any type of insurance. And they also had the 10-minute instant test at a fee. But this is where you see the line backed up, and it went onto the university campus, and it was interfering with people going to work, and I just loved it. It was just incredible. I get excited about different things than most people. They don't like traffic jams. I love them, because when you're helping people, the more people that come out, the more people that are aware of it, and we let them know. You know, these are USDA programs, and they see, you know, some paraphernalia on the box, and we even have the census people out here passing out a brochure to make people aware of the census. There you see our census guy. He was here again today, but they had 3 or 4 census workers along with a couple of Waller County people at that one, and a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi. The ability to partner and have volunteers when we're working with the kind of wonderful programs and services that you all provide, it's a missed opportunity if people don't embrace that. That is probably one of the things. We've got about 7 or 8 folks here who drove out from Houston today to help us volunteer and distribute food. The Campus Edge Apartments ownership, they had cases of water, so we were giving out 2, 3, 4 cases of water in addition to the foodstuffs. So, but again, I just want to say thank you, and thank you. And that's what, to me, is this is all about. You know, when it gets what you all put together, and when it actually gets out there to the people, that's, to me, is the best part. So again, kudos to all of you for the different programs. Horace and USDA, the College of Agriculture, who we do quite a bit of work with, and in the community with some MOUs from even planting a community garden at Jones Elementary. Dean D'Souza and Chandra Adams were extremely instrumental in assisting me with that. So again, I just want to let you know what you're doing works. And the one thing I'll leave you with, it took too long for this to get to Prairie View. If it's something that's been going on for a while, and I honestly don't know, but I do think that getting the information to the local mayors or even city council members or active folks in the community is huge. And I think this is what this was a big part of. But a lot of them are busy. And again, I had to bring my laptop and listen in and out while I was out there loading cars too, because I'm right beside my people. I don't ask them to do anything I wouldn't do. But if there's a way of really getting this, and I certainly want the link, and I'll get it through Horace or someone, and I'll share it with local mayors and things like that, because especially at times like these, we can't know enough about services that you all already provide that can help us help our folks and help keep them healthy and safe at the same time. It's just an incredible opportunity. And again, I just want to say thank you, and God bless. If any questions, I'll, still hang around. We still got a couple of cases, a couple of pallets.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate it, and appreciate Horace for you working with the mayor and getting that family food to families program that's part of the USDA. So thank you, Mayor. We appreciate you being here and sharing that with us. And that's what, as I said at the beginning, together America prospers, and that's what it's all about. Just quickly, as we wrap up, I want to thank everyone who participated today, especially our presenters. And thanks to the production team, Rachel and your crew for putting all this together, and also for Prairie View for the work that they did on getting it done. There's a lot of information that was given out today. All of the programs that you heard about are here to help rural areas prosper. All of the agencies, you know the old saying that goes, we're here from the government, we're here to help you, but seriously, we are, and all of the agencies are here to help you. It's our goal to help you make an impact in your communities as you work to improve the standard of living in your area. Please don't hesitate to call any of the agencies to get info on how they can help. And as I said at the beginning, as rural development motto is, together, America prospers. Thank you so much.